Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Another week, another episode. This is Stats Over Politics. As always, I'm your host, Shaun Holko, alongside the whole crew is here this week, finally reunited after I was gone for about a month. Glad to be here with these three guys. To my right, on the screen at least technically to my left, I guess, is Mr. Kevin Dent. Below me is Mr. Jaevon Toddy, and to his left is none other than Kaz Johnson of Kazzy Bear TV. And Kaz, I'm going to toss it to you first because you're already getting active in the YouTube comments. You and Chicken said, all I'm saying is Saquon. Kaz said Saquon. And so, Kaz, how are we feeling this week?
I'm actually not feeling the best right now. Unfortunately, I'm actually going to have you swing it to somebody else for a second because I got to go over there and handle something. I'll be right back in literally 3 seconds. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, no problem. So Kaz is gonna go put on his Saquon Barkley jersey. Kevin, could you show the audience the Saquon Barkley jersey one more time?
Yes, sir. You see it, fresh out the box. Didn't want to wear it to the game. I wanted to wear it on the 2nd. I told Toddy I'm gonna come on here December 2nd, and I'm gonna talk my shit. So I wanted to take it out the box. I was gonna do it live on camera, but I had to make sure it fit. So had to run a trial run, but we are ready to go, man. I'm feeling great. I was called a madman in the beginning of the year when I said we were going to be the best team in the world. I said top 5 offense, top 5 defense. Toddy said 6 games you lost in a row. It was last year this, last year that, and now we're here. So I'm feeling great, fellas. Let's get the energy going. We are back at it again. I'm feeling great. Go Birds.
And making his triumphant return to the screen is none other than Kaz Johnson. Not quite a Saquon Barkley jersey though.
I ain't got the money for that yet. It's a new season. I ain't buying no jerseys for a little while. Okay, but I felt like I needed to get dressed. My boy Kevin, he brought the energy. My boy Chicken in the chat always brings the energy. Yeah, we got to do that. Where's your gear at? Shaun, Toddy? Nope.
You sit in the chair.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
Meanwhile,
okay, yeah.
I'm about to put on this 49ers beanie in this warm home that I have just to prove a point. Like
Toddy is not having it.
Toddy's full Celtic season right now. Toddy's a Boston Celtic fan right now. Full on.
Yeah, for the audio
Yeah,
only listeners. Right now, Toddy has been staring at us with such a blank face, no emotion at all. And before we hear from Toddy, I just wanted to highlight a couple of these YouTube comments as the chat is popping right now. As Dad Dent says, Eagles fans are alive again.
Where did we go?
Yeah, we've been alive.
And Chicken says, preach, Kevin, preach, speak the truth. And Chicken again says their jersey is about 25 points away. Very funny talking shit about the 49ers. And then on the note of Monday Night Football, which we all just watched, Grey Wolf is in the chat saying, fuck what everyone talking about. Denver fucking Broncos country. Let's fucking ride. And the last comment that I wanted to highlight, another one from Chicken before we hear from Toddy. Toddy, you can just respond to this one directly as Chicken from Kaz's stream says, all I see is missing 49ers jerseys. I wonder why. Aha. So, Toddy,
Chicken on time.
If you want to respond real quickly.
I have no further comment at this point.
Well, Toddy, you gotta tell us a little bit more about how you're feeling because they've been talking so much that I'm gonna have to put on a 49ers shirt.
Well, you know what? I do want to say I'm actually happy for my boy Kev. You know, won some money this weekend. We went through trials and tribulations.
A dry spell.
A dry spell, if you may add. And
not November.
I'm actually happy that we won some money together this on Sunday. It was do or die Sunday, and we put a little parlay together. Kevin and I, we talk frequently off air. I've known this man since I was like 15 years old, I think so. So, just to go through everything that we went through this football season, and to see him. I'm happy for him and what he's been able to accomplish. Kind of what I turned him into, I guess. A degenerate gambler, as I guess I do to all of my friends. Be like, hey, have you ever gambled before? No, what's that? And then now
give my referral code. He's finessing all of it.
The referral code. And then now all of a sudden Kevin's just full on sending me bets when I wake up in the morning. And Kevin, I get an attachment from Kevin and it's a parlay. So yeah, I mean, what else? Well, what happened on Sunday? Was there like a Niner game or something? They played on Sunday night. I don't know what happened. I don't know what everyone's talking about. Why is there so much an uproar about what happened on Sunday? But hey, I guess we'll end up talking about it.
We sure will end up talking about it. And for the audio only listeners, I could only take the disrespect so much. Even though we may not see him again this year, I had to put on my Christian McCaffrey
retirement
jersey. Oh, people were saying that after he got ruled out week 1 and he returned. So I am going to hold belief that he will return again. Even if it means he gets sidelined by another injury, Christian McCaffrey isn't retired yet. And so got my Christian McCaffrey jersey on here for episode number 125 of Stats Over Politics. Toddy and I are about to take a beating, but it's all right. Let's get right to it. Let's not waste any more time. As the marquee game from this past weekend in week 13 was the Eagles defeating the Ravens 24-19 in Baltimore. And so, Kevin, with that fresh Saquon Barkley jersey, fresh off a trip to SoFi Stadium, just how are you feeling about them Eagles?
Belt to ass is what happened. So before we get into the game, we bring up the group chat a lot. So I'm going to bring up Toddy and I's chat before the game. How we feeling, Kev? Smitty playing? Yeah, Smitty's playing.
This is not a group chat conversation. This is Kevin personal text. This is our personal text messages that he's airing out.
He's airing out the private text.
He said, Kevin, are the Ravens a Super Bowl contender? I said, are the Ravens? I said, are the Raiders? Or the Browns? If they can do it, why can't we? Derrick Henry, Kevin, 125. He's going to run all over you. I said, Toddy, verbatim. You ever hear of Jalen Carter? ? Jordan Davis? ? Josh Sweat? N'Kobe Dean? He said, that don't mean nothing to Derrick Henry. Coming into the game, averaging 110 yards. Toddy, you want to let the listeners know how much he finished with?
I believe it was 82 yards.
82 yards. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, we did a top 5 team in the NFL. Shaun wasn't here, but the two guys under me, Ravens are top 5 team, Kevin. It's just the Browns. It was just a bad game. It's okay. Lamar's going to do it. They're going to hand Derrick Henry the ball. The receivers are going to catch it. It's all going to work itself out, Kev. This defense sucks, but they're going to figure it out. Week after week after week, I was told that this was the best thing since sliced bread. This is Lamarvelous. They came in 8-4. And now they're sitting at 8-5. They're 3-3 against good teams. They came in with the number 1 offense. This defense has dismantled them. We were down 9-0, and another group chat text. Y'all in trouble from Toddy. And then we get a go Ravens.
What was the score?
It was 0-9. And I don't know about Cavs, but I'm sitting back telling Alyssa, you know what? It's week 13, and there's been 12 games where we ain't scored in the first quarter. So am I upset? Am I all hands over heels? No, because at some point, we have to figure it out. Toddy, I keep bringing up this graphic. Every time we play somebody, Toddy goes, well, Kevin, what about so-and-so? Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank is the number 1 receiver on the other side. What are you going to do about him? What are you going to do about him? And I say, he has to serve his sentence in Guantanamo Bay. You don't like it, but you love it. There's 3 things in the world: taxes, death, and Guantanamo Bay. There's things that are just going to happen regardless. He is locking up your favorite receiver's favorite receiver. And I come on here week after week. I know what Toddy's a Boston fan. I know what the Boston fans in the 80s and the 90s, you know, when you see 33 making a play here, it's like goddamn Larry Legend out there. Cooper DeJean, this is going to be the first year there's a co-defensive rookie of the year because they both play for the Eagles. Cooper DeJean is making plays. A lot of guys didn't notice this. There were 2 plays where Avonte Maddox was on the field. Pass interference, legal contact. 2 plays. He played 2 plays. And as an Eagles fan, I said, you know what? It's only 2. It used to be the whole game. But now we got Cooper DeJean, so we're seeing the better things in life. So let's get on this offense. Coming into the season, Bill Belichick, Kevin. Bill Belichick coming to Philly, Kevin. The Philadelphia Eagles are 10-2 for the 3rd straight season. There's only been 7 coaches to ever do that. Sean Payton, Bill Belichick, Tony Dungy, the good Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, Mike Ditka, and John Madden. Kevin, your coach isn't good. Kevin, your quarterback's throwing into triple coverage. I came on here and said, I'm taking my quarterback over everybody. Kaz, you weren't here yet, but Shaun wrote it down for the worst takes, and he laughed at me. I said, I'm taking him over Patrick Mahomes. Jalen beat him. Put him over Josh Allen. Jalen beat him. Put him over Lamar Jackson. Jalen beat him. Who's next? Who's next? We're going through this. I told Toddy, we run uphill in our downtime. We're not new to this. We're true to this. We are making noise. We have no Smitty, and we're still putting up these points. The Ravens, you can sit back and say, oh, damn it, Justin Tucker, you suck. This was the number 1 red zone offense in the NFL. Justin Tucker wasn't on the game. He wasn't on the field that much anywhere else. But when you're coming against some real dogs, it's hard. But I came on here and I wanted to make it known that the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFL. And Kevin, what about the Lions? You know, they're the little engine that can, because they have 16 injuries, 16 guys on IR, 13 of them on defense. At this point, they're throwing people out there trying to figure it out. So, yeah, they're figuring out these close games, but if Toddy's guy, Caleb Williams, had a brain cell, you know, they call a timeout, kick field goal, you know, who knows? But with all that being said, Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry it had to be you. You will not be winning another MVP. And there's only 2 options for MVP, and it's Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley.
Well, Toddy, I feel like I should give you a chance to respond here. But before you do, I just wanted to highlight a couple more YouTube comments as one of our favorite listeners, Uncle Manny, first and foremost says, congrats to Kevin and Kaz. Have a great show. That's coming from a Cowboys fan. So you know he had to swallow his pride with that one. And then this one's for you, Jaevon, and you can take it from here. As Uncle Manny says, lesson, Vaughn, don't put anything in writing. No personal chats. And so, Jaevon, if you wanted to respond to everything Kevin just had to say.
I mean, I was confident on the Ravens, bet the Ravens. I don't think I would have changed anything. Like, hindsight's 2020, obviously. I think the Eagles as an underdog, I think they're undefeated straight up. Whenever they're underdog, I remember the last time they were a dog on the road against the Bengals, and they beat the shit out of the Bengals.
Beat the shit out of the Bengals. Say it again for the listeners, starting in the back.
I won money that day. Maybe I should have looked at it like, oh, the Eagles are on the road and they're a dog again. Maybe right with the Eagles. But it was Lamar Jackson, so I probably would end up betting the Ravens again. And they didn't have Devonta Smith, who did not play in this game. They kind of just handled them. Just going into the game, the Ravens started out pretty hot. Lamar looked like Lamar, Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers was getting open early. And on one of those plays, Avonte Maddox was in the game, as Kevin mentioned earlier. And it looked kind of a little shaky earlier. But I feel like towards, the middle of the game, after the first quarter, the Eagles started to settle in. Their D-line was getting after Lamar, kind of keeping him in the pocket. A lot of teams let Lamar scramble, and I thought the Eagles were able to keep him inside of the pocket and not let him get outside and scramble. I felt like they had some sort of a cap on Derrick Henry for the most part of the game. I thought Cooper DeJean played really well. I thought the D-line for the Eagles played really well. Quinyon Mitchell, man, I saw something saying that he's not even the favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's Jared Verse right now, which is kind of weird.
It's because it's pretty. He has the sacks. Quinn doesn't have the interceptions.
Yeah, he doesn't have the interception numbers, but if you watch him play, look at all the stats of all the receivers that go up against him. He's been playing lights out. I think he should definitely be Defensive Rookie of the Year in my book. If we're watching the games, I mean, it's not really close in my opinion. Cooper DeJean, he's been balling. What's the other white kid's name? Blankenship, baby. Reed Blankenship. He's been
the Milky Way is what
chalk dog, baby, chalk dog.
I like chalk dog.
He's been playing his ass off, and then we got to go to the offense. Saquon Barkley. I mean, he showed out again. He wasn't really playing up to a standard. I'd say to the third quarter is kind of where he kind of went loose. Jalen Hurts found a way to get the ball to Dallas Goedert. He was making plays. Obviously, A.J. Brown was doing what he did. I mean, no one could really stop him. And Jalen Hurts didn't turn the ball over. So that was I thought he looked really well when no one was open. He was able to use his legs and be able to move the chains. The Ravens just they kind of got stagnant after those first couple of drives. And let's not forget, Justin Tucker just looks like a shell of himself. Ravens fans used to just watch him walk on the field and you didn't even have to look. Like it was automatic whenever he looks. And now he's going out there and he's shanking field goals. He's missing extra points. It's like you got to take him behind the bar and shoot the old dog. Like it's bad. But I mean, the Eagles are dominating really good teams. And this reminds me of a team that, played in Santa Clara for a couple of years where they just dominated any and everyone that they played against. The Eagles are doing it, and they're young. They got young people on defense. They got young people in the secondary. You got Devontae Smith locked up. Saquon Barkley is obviously under contract. Jalen Hurts is under contract. All these guys are under contract, so it's not like they're going to be going anywhere.
Youngest defense in the NFL.
I mean, they're firing on all cylinders. I mean, this team is clicking, and when they're on, they're on. They just beat a really good team in the Ravens, who a bunch of us on this podcast said they were top 5. So I mean, what does your guys' remaining schedule look like? I don't know if Kevin could probably or Kaz probably.
Cakewalk. It don't matter who's on the other side of the field, but if you want me to look it up for you, I can.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
We have the Panthers, we have the Steelers, we have Washington again, we have New York again, we have Cowboys again.
Like I said, it's
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Harry.
I don't know. They're definitely in contention for the number 1 seed. I mean, the Lions
is back on Thursday.
Yeah, they got these two guys to the left of me are going to be wearing cheese heads on Thursday. So,
Pack is back, baby.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna be fighting for that number 1 seed for the last final 5 weeks of the season. So yeah, I mean I'll give credit when credit is due. The Eagles are one of the best teams in the league right now, and I really can't say anything bad about them because they're playing their ass off right now. And I won a bunch of money on them, so I ain't gonna be no hater like some other people on this podcast. But I mean, they keep playing like this, and when they get Devontae Smith back, it's going to be a problem for the whole entire league.
Well, you guys notice the wording in which Jaevon used there. One of the best teams in the NFL. We'll get to that a little bit later, whether or not they are the best. But Kaz, you've been sitting, waiting, and listening. What did you think about the Eagles' 24-19 win in Baltimore?
Okay, first off, Kevin, my brother, understand when I make my picks. I'm not doing it because here we go.
Hey,
I'm not doing.
I don't give a damn who we're playing against.
I'm picking the
Next
Eagles.
day by Steelers, I'm choosing the Eagles. I don't want to say nothing, but the dude to my right chose the Bills.
I'm just saying, listen, bro.
You couldn't pay me to choose against the Eagles. I couldn't do it.
I'm just saying. I also
I know
every
ball.
week, whenever I do my YouTube videos or whatever, my picks, I put $1 on my picks as a parlay. You know, 6 tips or 16 games, 16 leg parlay, $1. You know, usually can flip to some good money if you call every game correct. So I base it off of that. What's up? Yeah, I picked the Ravens to win. I did. Okay. I picked the Ravens to win. I thought that us on the road. Okay. No Devonta Smith, no Slay. I'm like, this is just a recipe for disaster if Nick Sirianni gets in the way. And you know what? Early on, he was getting in the way. The play calling didn't make sense. And I actually tweeted at some point of the game, I said, I was bitching and moaning like I normally do on Twitter. And then at some point I go, holy shit. I said Kellen Moore was in his bag that drive. It's the first scoring drive, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like, that's what it should look like. A little bit of Saquon, a little bit of Jahan Dotson, AJ. I think Hurts maybe ran one time and then got it for the touchdown. And I was like, so it is a thing. We can make sense because guess what? We're going to need for things to look like that on offense if we're going to win this game. And I was still kind of right about my early prediction. I said I need for Jalen Hurts. I said on Twitter, very critical on Jalen. I said, looking at this game, Jalen Hurts needs to show up. And I said, I will allow one. I said, I will allow one turnover because we're playing against a really good team. And we're playing against a playoff team, a Super Bowl contender. I still think the Ravens are. Okay. It may not be perfect like I want it to be. Not only that, Jalen Hurts has not played perfect. He's played very competent and very careful and very sharp, which that's all we can ask for as Eagles fans. But I said, no Smitty, no problem. We have A.J. Brown. We have Saquon Barkley, who is literally playing like the best player in the NFL. We have the best offensive line in the NFL. We have a top 5 potential-wise, probably more like a top 8, 10 tight end right now, okay? We have the number 1 defense in the league. Do we need Devonta Smith to win this fucking game? You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it like that. So I'm like, so if we do end up in a pickle, it's going to be because of, unfortunately, where you put most of the blame on, Jalen Hurts. And I'm not going to hide the fact I'm critical on him. I'm very critical on him. I love the guy because I know how good he can be. I know he can give us 250, 300 yards a game and a pair of touchdowns through the air if he really wanted to. But unfortunately, with our coaching, you saw at the very beginning of the game, you could definitely tell this is not good Eagles football. It's not the Eagles football to where we're using there are people tweeting why the hell does Derrick Henry already have 7 carries and Saquon have like 2? It's like, what are we doing? Like, what are we waiting on? We know who we have. We have the best running back in the NFL right now, and it's not even close. It's a gap. He's the best. He's everything. He's our entire offense for the most part. To where A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith right now aren't even playing like top 10 wide receivers, even though they probably both are. A.J. for sure is a top 10 wide receiver. He's probably a top 5 wide receiver talent-wise when it's all said and done if he got the targets. He doesn't get them anymore because of Saquon, which is okay. It's okay. But going into this game, I'm like, we're in Baltimore. We are 3-point dogs. No Devonta Smith. I can just see the excuses. Well, we didn't have Smitty. We didn't have this. And I made a TikTok after we lost to, who was it? The Falcons, right? No, but we lost to the Bucks and who else? Falcons game. And I remember making a TikTok where I said, if you're a good team, okay, you shouldn't need everything perfect to happen for you to win. If you need everything perfect to happen for you to win, that probably means that you're not as good as you come off as your record. All right. And guess what? There's a team like that right now in the league that's number 1 in the league, and that's the Chiefs. People are saying left and right, they're probably not going to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say it until I see them lose. But people are saying the Chiefs aren't good. The Bills could beat them. The Ravens could beat them. Hell, the Chargers could probably beat them. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to playoffs, people are saying that, like, and they're confident in that because the Chiefs they've needed everything perfect to happen for them to win games. They have never just outright won a game. So early on in the season, I was saying about the Eagles. Fast forward to now, we went from kind of squeaking by to having a couple dominant wins. Well, guess what? We're having the most dominant wins at the right time. Dominated the Bengals. Okay, we obviously rightfully so injury prone, but dominated the Cowboys. We dominated Washington. We dominated now the Ravens, because guess what? This 24-19 scoring shit. They scored a last-second touchdown in garbage time to make it from being 12 to 24. Because guess what? I lost a lot of money on that. I took the Eagles to cover 11.5 points right after we scored the last touchdown. I'm like, yep, took it, and I'm like, this game's over. This game is over, and we have the ball. We'll kick a field goal. We'll go up 12. Guess what? We went up 12, right? All right. They had what? Less than a minute to score. What did they do? We laid off. The game was won. Lamar Jackson ran it for like 60-some yards and then hit Isaiah Likely on a dart to end the game, just to cover that spread. So regardless, it was 12 to 24. We're gonna call it that. I'm not calling it 19-24. What I will say about this Eagles team is this: Kevin's gonna hate to hear it, but I'm gonna say it. We still need to see Detroit. I'm not gonna parade around like we're the best team in the NFL when there's a team that's in our conference that has a better record, that has beaten formidable. We're at the point of the season now where everybody has played somebody good. So there's a few two-loss teams in the league. Minnesota's one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like they only got 2 losses as well, same record as us. It's not like we're sitting there like, yo, we're the 1 seed. We're the 1 seed now. And I see what Plummer says. We on Detroit ass. Don't get me wrong. I've seen enough. I'm ready. I've seen enough. I've seen what it looks like for Hurts to show up, for Smitty and AJ to show up for some games, and obviously Saquon. And this is about as complete as it gets. I desperately want that 1 seed. I need Detroit to lose a game. I believe if Detroit loses Green Bay and we win out, we get it. We'll have the same record, but we have the tiebreaker because we beat Green Bay. We beat Green Bay in week 1. If they end up beating Green Bay, then all of a sudden all the mathematical shit comes in. This needs to happen, that needs to happen, whatever, yada yada. But there's a possibility, and Green Bay is a good team. So I'm hoping and praying for that, because if the 1 seed goes to Philadelphia, we're going to the Super Bowl. No, even if it doesn't, we're probably going to Super Bowl.
If it doesn't.
Yeah, even if it doesn't, we're probably going to Super Bowl. The only thing that scares me, Kevin, is we had the earliest bye week. We had a week 5 bye week. So we're playing straight through now all the Super Bowl. There is no more breaks. Straight through. I would like to have that bye, just to kind of reset a little bit again, get guys, if they are a little banged up, healthy, or give guys rest, because that's a long week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then probably going to have to play up to week 18, because if Detroit, if there's still a chance to get it, we're going to play our guys until we can't get it. So we might be playing the entire season with no resting starters right into the playoffs. That's hard. That's a lot of football, man. Okay. But other teams are going to go through the same shit. Detroit can't rest their guys either until they clinch that 1 seed. They can't. So the NFC right now, it's looking really good when it comes to competitiveness. It's awesome. It's amazing. I just want it so bad. I want us to get that 1 seed because we fought for it. We've proven it. I think we deserve it. And I do think that we're going to get it. I think that Detroit's going to drop a game somewhere, and we're going to finish out right and win. But back to the game though, complete game. Jalen Hurts did what he needed to do. This game was very similar to, guess what, Niners fans? The game that everybody bitched about when you guys lost 2 quarterbacks and you guys had to use some backup guy, whatever the hell his name was, in the NFC Championship game. Well, Jalen Hurts only put up like about barely 100 yards. He didn't need to do anything more than that. We ran the ball. It was very similar. We didn't need to see Jalen Hurts throw for 150 yards just to AJ Brown and Smitty, this and that. He did it again. He had 100. He was 11 for 19, only 118 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 receiving touchdown. It's the same thing. At some point, if you don't like it, stop it. That's all I'm saying. If you don't like it, stop it. So, no, the stats on Jalen Hurts' end doesn't look like Matthew Stafford, when on his best game where it's 375 yards and 4 tutties. It didn't look like even Jameis Winston tonight, who had a pair of interceptions but 4 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants that and for us to lose. I'm cool with this. He only threw 19 times. Bro, there was games where Jalen Hurts in previous seasons have thrown 30-plus times. Multiple times this year because of Saquon and the fact that we're playing more competent on offense. He's only thrown over, I think, 30 times, maybe a couple times this year. Maybe. I haven't even looked it up. You have to fact check me. This team went out there and they beat a very good Ravens team on the road. If that doesn't tell you that we're as legit as they come, I don't know what will. I don't know what more do you guys need for it to be 34 to 19? 44 to 19? Do you need Saquon to go for 250 again and then 5 touchdowns? You know what? There's something about the Eagles in the way that we exist to other fans that you guys just can't be just I want to say thankful because you guys don't care about us, but you can't appreciate it when we win. There's zero appreciation. There's always something. Always something. We've rebuilt. We have probably one of the youngest fucking defenses in the league right now. All playing like Pro Bowlers. There's gonna be hella Pro Bowlers from the Eagles on this year. Okay, our offense got a guy missing here. AJ Brown was done for a couple games. Smitty's missed a game or two here and there. Saquon has missed games yet. Lane Johnson went out once. We lost Jordan Mailata for a few games. What more do you guys want? Dallas Goedert? Why? So just a good game that we won on the road. That game, Kevin, to make you feel better now. Okay, don't beat my ass, brother. I'm on board with you now. Okay, we are them. I still want to beat Detroit. We got to beat the best to be the best. I still want to beat Detroit, but confidently, if we play Detroit, I think that we would beat them, and I think it'd be handily. I think that'd be the same way that was with this game, where it's like they'll have some moments, but once our defense gets to clicking, there's nothing you can do because our offense, we might start slow, but we always find our groove every time. And I believe that Brian Westbrook said it best on Twitter. Everybody was panicking the first couple drives with Eagles. I think we were like punt. 4 punts back to back. And he said, well, the Eagles always start off slow. They've always done it all season long. I'm like, you know what? That is absolutely true. We've always started off slow. Coaches got the way. Kellen Moore gets in his bag. All of a sudden, you see what happens. So shout out to the Birds. Big win against the Ravens. Nobody right now can tell me shit.
Well, that is a lot to respond to. A couple things. I got a couple bullet points here. Number one, to compare a game in which the 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson is actively playing in to win the 49ers had Josh Johnson and then Christian McCaffrey at quarterback. It's the same thing, apparently. Like
they were both this.
We talking about what Jalen Hurts did. We're talking about what Jalen Hurts did, not your quarterback. I'm just saying.
They're so sensitive.
But yeah, of course we're sensitive. It's not a good time for us right now, Kevin. So just like Kaz, I agreed with almost everything you said, but when you sprinkled that in there, I was just like, oh, all right, I've been triggered. But and Kaz, to get back to something you said at the top of your point, is that what you went through yesterday is exactly why Toddy, when he got me into betting for a year, exactly why Toddy told me never live bet ever. Now Toddy definitely dabbles in some live betting, but he told me to stay away for that exact reason. And
it sucked.
Yeah, that just sounds like straight pain. And I wanted to highlight so
advocate now.
he has changed his ways. There's a lot that I wanted to highlight from the YouTube comments, but they just keep stacking up, and we appreciate all of you for participating in the audience. And so before we close out this Eagles segment, Kaz, if you could please respond to a couple of things for me. First and foremost, from your stream, Chicken says, nah, fuck that, Kaz. We the best team in the NFL. We taking everyone. We went in the Super Bowl by 14 plus points this year. So damn. Respond to that one first.
I agree. I mean, I do. I think that the ball, I'll be quick, Shaun. The ball is rolling. What you guys saw last year when we started off, what was it, 10-1 and lost like 6 straight or whatever the hell it was, 5 straight. Yep. I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
6.
I think the opposite is going to happen. I'm like, dude, anybody, especially if this shit goes through Philadelphia, bro. I'm telling you guys, I've been to it. I've been live at an NFC Championship game. I would not want to go there if I was an opposing team. There's no way. There, like when I say a home field advantage like truly matters, that shit was insane. Like, I don't know. So if we get to when we get to Super Bowl, we're not fucking losing. I don't care who it is. We're not losing. Not we better lose Hurts, Saquon, Lane Johnson, and only have Smitty and goddamn Kenny Pickett. That's the only
way we don't win is another COVID outbreak, brother. Only way we don't.
That's the only way, man.
They gotta shut the world down to stop us.
You got Hurts under center and you got Saquon Barkley. I mean, in that line alone, offense will handle business the way we need to. In our defense, like I said, Yeah, so I agree with Chicken. Somebody getting their ass with that Super Bowl.
So the other comment that I wanted you to respond to comes from cousin Cordell, who is a noted Steelers fan. And week 15, it's going to be a battle of Pennsylvania. So Cordell wants to know, Kaz, and Kevin, you can answer this next. Cordell says, can they beat the Steelers?
Go ahead.
I'll be very, 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 very brief. Russell Wilson, Russell Westbrook, Russell Simmons, Birds by 40. I don't give a fuck. That ain't no. No. Hey,
excuse me.
They winning their division though. Kaz, what you?
I don't give a damn.
NFC.
Listen, hey man,
division already, Toddy. If you forgot,
who's in your division?
Justin Fields, Justin Tucker, Justin Timberlake, Eagles by 40.
It don't matter.
It don't matter, bro.
And Kevin, I would.
2 years ago,
I'd imagine
came to the link and got that ass whooped. Yeah, I know y'all remember this. Yeah, AJ Brown going to the pole, just belt to ass. So we're not worried about you, Cordell. Apologies, man. You guys had a great season, though.
And Cordell says by 40 is crazy.
40 is crazy. I was thinking more about 42 and a half.
I thought you were going to say 39.
About 50 city, you know what I'm saying?
We're not the Ravens, and we're not the Bengals.
Jaevon, as the only, and I'm going to exclude myself from this debate, but Jaevon is the only non-biased person on this panel, and all due respect to both you, Kaz, and Kevin. But what do you think about that Week 15 matchup, Jaevon?
I think the Eagles will probably be slightly favored. What week are we in right now? 14, 13?
This is 13, so
13 just ended, so it'll be on the 14.
So it'll be next week. Yeah, the Eagles will probably be favored probably by 2.5 on the road. Steelers home to. All right, where's that game? Is it in Pittsburgh? It's in Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
It's on Earth. It's on Earth. Milky Way galaxy.
I
saw a stat that Tomlin is like. Tomlin straight up as a home dog is really good. The Steelers probably be a home dog. I would probably, I don't know. That'd be a really good game.
That man Tomlin, he looked like Omar Epps. This ain't loving basketball, bro. Eagles by 40.
Eagles probably win the game. I feel like the game will be a lot closer than these two Eagles fans will think. But Eagles probably win that game.
Is George Pickens better than Jamar Chase?
George Pickens? What is
that? Hell no.
He's not a good receiver, so I don't know what he's gonna.
Jalen Carter gonna rip somebody's leg off for real.
Hey, man.
Whoever playing quarterback is in hell.
Calvin Austin.
Let me go see Calvin Austin and Mike Williams. Yeah. Woo. Just like I heard about Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. Oh shit.
And even Chicken says the games at Lincoln Financial Field, Steelers ain't scoring more than 9.
If it's at Lincoln, it's at the link, then the Steelers or not Steelers, the Eagles.
It's not called Hurts anymore, is it?
I don't know what it's called anymore. Oh, you mean
what? Heinz Field?
Heinz Field.
It's called something.
Heinz Field.
Yeah, it's called like Ackershire now or whatever.
If it's in Philly would be favored by 5.5.
Well, it's not in Philly.
We will get to Cordell's Steelers a little bit later in our speedy Week 13 NFL recap. But the only thing I'll say about the Steelers is that they have finally proved to me that they are legit. I have not been believers in the Steelers all year. I picked the Bengals to win yesterday. I am now a believer in the Steelers. And when it comes to the Eagles,
it's in the link.
Oh,
yeah. But I mean, just to wrap up this game, when it comes to the Eagles, man, I'm kind of glad that the 49ers are kind of out of it, because I would be scared of this Eagles team if the 49ers had to see them in the playoffs. And that's just me being
42.
Yeah, this is just me being quite frank and honest. And Kevin, you got to shave 3 minutes off of that because of the intro that I'm gonna cut out of it at the beginning. But yeah, there you go. Clip it right there. I would be scared of the Eagles if the 49ers had to play them. And if the 49ers somehow, some way manage to win the NFC West and get into the playoffs, they would have to see the Eagles at the link. And so it ain't looking good. And so as we keep things moving here on episode number 125 of Stats Over Politics, Shaun Holko alongside Kevin Dent, Jaevon Toddy, and Katz Johnson. Guys, now let's get to the other game that we're going to highlight in full this week. And we're not highlighting it necessarily because of what happened in the game. It was everything that happened afterwards. I mean, a little bit happened during the game, but the official news came out afterwards. And this game is from Sunday Night Football. Toddy and I were waiting all day for Sunday night just to see a shellacking in Buffalo. And it was a snowstorm, and so I kind of expected it. But yet it still somehow got worse than even my expectations were, as the Bills beat the 49ers 35-10. And Toddy, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of dead inside. I mean, I'm wearing this Christian McCaffrey jersey just because there was so many people talking at the beginning of the pod. But I'm feeling pretty dead inside. And as the title of today's episode says, 49ers injury woes got worse. And so I'm dead inside. How about you, Toddy?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Kevin was telling me the line was 6.5, like before they even announced Brock Purdy's injury. When they announced he was playing, that line, well, it was more towards, the end of the week when it happened. Nothing really changed. I was not waiting all day for Sunday night. I kind of knew what was going to happen. It was getting it was like you're waiting for your demise. Like you knew what was going to happen. And you're seeing all the weather reports. It's snowing. People are shoveling the snow to get to their seats. And I was like, this is not going to end well. I mean, it got so bad that when I posted it, my own cousin, who has been on this podcast several times, he plays for the Commanders, swiped up on my story and said, belt to ass on me posting the final score for the game. And I was like, you know what? I can't really say anything. It's getting bad. I'm not trying to like chalk it up to injuries because like before we still had like Nick Bosa was playing, Trent was still playing, and we weren't really playing good. But now Bosa's out. Purdy missed a game. We had to start again with Brandon Allen. McCaffrey's done for the year. Obviously, Ayuk has been out. Playing in the snow did not favor us, I'll tell you that. I mean, you got guys like, what's his name? Mac Hollins showing up. He's in no shoes. no shoes. And okay. That's great. Debo has not been playing his greatest. Moody's missing field goals. This is time to mock draft. Todd McShay, Mel Kiper. Where y'all boys at? Where y'all boys at? We're 5-7. Now I get we're only 2 games out. Like there's a bunch of weird tiebreakers and shit that has to happen. But it's not looking like nothing inspired me yesterday from watching that game says that's the playoff team. Absolutely not. Josh Allen threw a touchdown to himself yesterday and scored a rushing touchdown. He caught a touchdown and scored a rushing touchdown. That's what the nerd stats and the fantasy guys, that's what they're counting. Nerd stats. They were doing whatever they wanted. I mean, we're fumbling at the goal line. We're missing kicks. Purdy's fucking throwing the ball, and he's fumbling. No one touched him. He's throwing the ball, and it's coming out of his hands. I mean, this team just looks like a shell of itself. Terrible. I mean, there's nothing that you can really say or do that really make this team like. I feel like the season's over. Mathematically, it's not over, but it's like we're done. Like, we still gotta play the Lions. We gotta play the Rams. We got the Rams coming up. I mean, we got the Cardinals. There's like someone's gonna you got to take me outside back by the barn, and it's time to. I don't want to say I want to blow this team up, but it's like people are wanting to get paid and people's contracts are coming up, and it's like, oh, Purdy, $60 million. Okay. I'm not seeing the $60 million worth of play right now. I'm not seeing that. George Kittle's talking about where my target's at. Jawan Jennings looks like the only guy that wants to play. He yesterday is the only one Mason's out. He was leading the league in rushing at one point in time, and now he's on injury reserve. Obviously, Christian, the PCL injury, he's probably done for the year. I question, should he have even ever came back? He didn't look like himself in the games that he played. And I'd say the only game that he kind of looked like himself was the game yesterday for a couple of drives. And then he catches the ball and a toss around. He's just like, yep, there it is. Mind I add you, he swindled the 49ers for a pay raise right before the season started. Like, hey,
swindled. He was the best running back in the world.
Yeah.
You don't deserve that.
He didn't play, Kevin. He played like 3 games.
Hey, to go to a Super Bowl.
Swindled.
When he's playing Kaz, they love him. When he's not playing, it's swindle. You see how they treat your players over there in San Francisco?
Could never be me, bro.
Could never be us, man. That is just disrespectful. He put his line on the line for y'all.
Okay, now Kevin's just talking shit. If Saquon Barkley was demanding a pay raise and he didn't play, you guys
Saquon Barkley took us to a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And lost. And they lost. Doesn't matter because they lost.
Hey, you get to tell your kids.
We got some hardware.
Our quarterback is not playing well. Our offense doesn't look like anything. Ricky Pearsall has disappeared. I don't even think he has a catch in the last 2 games. He went from having that insane game in Tampa Bay to just not getting targeted, not catching the ball. Now it's, what can Isaac Guerrero do? What can Deebo Samuel do? Can we get George Kittle the ball? I don't know what this offense is going to look like. I don't think it's going to look pretty at all the next couple of weeks going into it. The defense has looked piss poor. For God's sake, I think Diamador Lenore's played all right. Javarius Ward obviously missed a couple of games, mourning the loss of his daughter. So he's kind of been out trying to get back into the swing of things. Our safety play has looked good the start of the season. When Malik Mustafa kind of burst onto the scene, he looked all right. Jair Brown has not been playing well at all. I think Mustafa he's looked very solid in the run game, but I need you to cover. You're a safety, not a linebacker. I think Renardo Green has showed some promise, but he's still a rookie. As Blue is trying to tell me your team sucks. I know. I think it's a lot to put together. It's like we're trying to put flex tape on a brick house, and it's like falling apart on us. And it's the season from hell that everybody was trying to warn us about, and I was like, there is no season from hell. We're going to be all good. I guess it's the Grim Reaper is undefeated.
To me, I have said this over and over and over again ad nauseum, but to me, it just feels like 2020 all over again, but it's starting to feel worse because, okay, Christian McCaffrey, he goes into the season expected to play, and then suddenly he's a game time decision, and then suddenly he's out week 1. Jordan Mason plays. He says to Lisa Salters after the game, yeah, they told me on Friday to prepare like I'm RB1, even though Christian McCaffrey was a game time decision. And so that was all kind of sus how they try to keep that under the radar. And then Christian McCaffrey is out, 8 weeks, finally comes back, and now he's out again. And as Adam Schefter said today, Toddy alluded to it earlier, Kyle Shanahan said that Christian McCaffrey did injure his PCL, and it's a 6-week recovery. His season now looks like it's over. And, backup running back, Jordan Mason, suffered an ankle injury and is also being placed on injured reserve as the 49ers lost 2 running backs. And as Kevin shared in our group chat, rookie running back Isaac Guerrero is now the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers. It didn't get any better. Earlier, Toddy mentioned the fact that Charvarius Ward dealt with tragedy with the loss of his young daughter. And it didn't get any better today as Sandra Williams, the wife of 49ers left tackle Trent Williams, announced Monday that the couple had a son, Trenton Jr., who was a stillborn on November 24th and didn't make it. And so not only are the 49ers dealing with injuries, but they're dealing with tragedies off the field. I mean, Ricky Pearsall, he could have died. Like, he's a fucking survivor. Like, we make all these, like, many men jokes and all that, but, like, Ricky Pearsall easily could have died before this season even started. And we kind of spun that into an inspirational thing because he survived, and it was kind of a flesh wound, which was honestly such a blessing. But we kind of saw the writing on the wall from that point on. And a lot of us just didn't see it for what was coming. And then even on more of a minor note, 49ers defensive lineman Kevin Givens tore his pec, and he's going on injured reserve. And so everyone is dropping like flies. It's very hard to be a 49ers fan right now because we go into this season with so much hope and optimism. And now half the team's stars aren't there anymore. And so before Toddy or I break into tears, Kevin, can you just share your thoughts on I mean, you could talk about the Bills beating the 49ers 35-10, great game from Josh Allen, but the focus of this game and why we're even highlighting this game is everything that has gone wrong with the 49ers this year.
No, definitely, man. I was definitely, like Toddy mentioned in the beginning of his monologue, I was one of the guys who said just take the year off. To come in with not just one Achilles soreness, but two. And you guys aren't playing for shit. Not saying that you guys aren't a good team or anything, but if you guys were playing for something, it's different. But you guys aren't playing for nothing. Go ahead, keep him on ice this year. Use this year as like a red shirt. You know, if he can make a couple plays, make a couple plays. But there's no sense to run him like you guys do, coming off of his Achilles. And I know he looked great in the 2 games he was back, but as we all know, he is now done for the season, and that's going to linger into next year. Just like with the Greenlaw injury, another really good player that has a lingering injury going into the next season. But like I told Toddy at the beginning of the season, it's going to be a shopping spree in Santa Clara next year. So come and get it while it's hot. Everything must go.
And Kaz, do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share about this game or the 49ers woes?
Can y'all smile for me, please? Just, I mean, come on. Can I get it? It's okay. It's okay, man. It's okay. Goddamn, y'all are hurt. This like the 3rd week in a row I see Toddy. I'm like, I want to like text him like, man, are you okay, bro? Like, is there something you want to tell me, man? I know we don't know each other like that, but if we need to get on that level, like, man, bro, I ain't seen a smile in a minute. There's no way the Niners is causing this. Is it the Niners or is it DraftKings? Who? You know what I'm saying?
They both have
I ain't seen my
share in there.
I ain't seen my man smile for a minute, but no, I'll just say it's unfortunate. The cool thing about CMC is this. Look, I think Kevin said it best. He took you guys to the Super Bowl, but you got to understand that dude has been getting hurt since Carolina. He's not the most healthy running back. He
ain't gonna get hurt with us.
He's just extremely fucking talented. So it literally is truly high risk, high reward. I mean, last year was the best season he's ever going to have in his career. I'm assuming that. I think last year was his best season he had, like as a football player.
I'm assuming so.
It might just be one of those things where, like, yep, kind of like, you know, when somebody's about to pass away, you know, they have that one last surge of energy, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, they're themselves again, and then, you know, they pass away in 24 hours. That's just a state. That's a stage of death. Tendonitis to both Achilles, bro. And now the torn PCL, which I texted you guys. I'm like, that is literally adjacent to the ACL. It's the ACL PCL right here.
Yep.
I mean, at some point you got to think about like Luke Kuechly. Okay, some people retire on top because I'm like, yo, I'm just going to be out here. At what point do I got to break my femur to stop? Sometimes you got to be like, you know what, man? Like, damn. Like, I can still do this. Do I need the money? I don't know. It depends, but I don't think that we're going to see the same CMC that we've seen that we saw last year. I don't think he's ever going to be a bad running back. I think that he'll still be probably a top 10 running back, top 15 running back for sure. No, he isn't throughout the entirety of his career because of his ability to catch and his just overall football wisdom. But like the guy who's a game breaker, you better surround him with a lot of weapons because I don't think that he can single-handedly take over games and win you games in the same way that Saquon Barkley is kind of doing for us right now. I don't think that's going to come back. So I would just say it's just a tough break. Niners, you guys are just hurt this year. Very, very, very hurt. You guys don't have the easiest schedule, and this is the unfortunate result. The Cowboys are kind of in the same boat, and I fucking hate. We nobody likes the Cowboys, but we're not gonna pretend like them not having Dak Prescott, not having Parsons for multiple weeks, not having Deron Bland for like the entire season for the most part, not having Brandon Cooks for a little while. I mean, they just been hurt. I mean, what do? You can't do shit about it. The Cowboys are definitely a much better team than what the record shows right now. I do believe that. I don't think they're gonna fuck with us, but they might be more so around like where the Commanders are right now. I believe that for sure. 7-8 wins, somewhere around there. I could see that. But all in all, it happens, and it's happening to your team, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing to really say about it.
Yeah, and the reason why you're not seeing any smiles from Toddy or myself is as former rapper turned country artist, and I'm not talking about Post Malone, but as Jelly Roll has said, I am not okay. I'm barely getting by. And I could continue, but that's probably the best way that I could summarize how it's felt to be a 49ers fan lately. And so we shall keep it moving here on episode number 125 of Stats Over Politics. Shaun Holko alongside Jaevon Toddy, Kaz Johnson, and Kevin Dent. Guys, we went and cut along with that Eagles segment, understandably so, and even with this morning of the 49ers of what they once were. And so let's close things out with our Week 13 NFL recap. And Kevin, we're going to start things out on Thanksgiving with the team that I think the Eagles should fear. And I'm not talking about Toddy's Bears, as the Lions beat the Bears 23-20.
You know what, Shaun, while you were gone, there has been a lot of Caleb Williams at the butt of a lot of jokes. But got a new OC looking like the Caleb Williams we know. Unfortunately, the Bears are going to bear, and with a chance to force overtime, they don't call a timeout. They throw a deep ball, clock goes to 0. But the Lions, man, the Lions just keep getting away with these games. They're playing these games. They're neck and neck in these games. They're just finding a way to use their talent. They have Dan Campbell. This defense is – even without Aiden Hutchinson, this defense is still finding ways to make plays. They have a young defense. We're talking about the Eagles' young defense. They're led by Terrion Arnold, who a lot of people have as their QB1 in this draft. So he's showing up to play. Kirby Johnson. I forgot about their other safety, but they have a lot of things going well over there. This running back Sonic Knuckles thing is legit, man. You can't say it. A lot of people are saying, well, who's the better running back in this duo? And if you have to ask me, I'm saying Jahmyr Gibbs. But the Lions find a way to squeak by another week.
All right, Kaz. The next game is an NFC East battle as the Cowboys beat the Giants 27-20.
Bullshit.
How so?
I'll just say because the Giants could have won that game. I think they should have won that game, honestly. The Cowboys did what the Cowboys normally do, and they just find a way to beat fucking bad teams, even when they're not good. They're not good. Let's just go over these stats just real quick. Drew Lock, 178, no touchdowns, interception. Expected. Cooper Rush, 1 touchdown, just under 200 yards. Okay, against the Giants, not bad. Rushing. Drew Lock led the Giants in rushing, like Jesus Christ. Over Tyron Tracy and Devin Singletary. Rico Dowdle had his best game of the season. That's fine. It's the Giants again. Then you look at receiving, obviously, with Drew Lock being under center. Not much on the receiving end. It's about 70 yards from Malik Neighbors. That's about it. Cowboys, barely any receiving. Gavante Turpin led the Cowboys to 53 receiving yards. Okay. quarter to quarter. New York up 7-3. Second quarter. It's a tie game. No, 13-10. Cowboys are up in halftime. Then 14 unanswered by the Cowboys. And then the Giants scored 10 in the remaining quarter to try to close it out. I just really wanted Dallas to lose just to rub salt in the wounds. I really did. To lose to the Giants is just an embarrassment no matter how bad your team is. And it didn't happen. I thought it was going to happen. They showed up and did what they're supposed to do. And I'm just really upset because when it comes to my weekly picks, that was an early one for me. I would have been pretty good on this week for the most part, but that one kind of spoiled it for me. So I'm more so salty about the fact that the upset didn't happen. But the Cowboys are better, and the Giants, the Giants are the Giants. So just expected, but they could have won that game.
Shout out to Drew Lock for proving why he played in that game and also proving why he was on the depth chart behind Tommy DeVito. As Toddy, you show us the Drew Lock celebration and how he knows every single word to every single rap song, apparently. But the final game from Thursday, Toddy, is that the Packers beat the Dolphins 30-17.
Yeah, this was a game I bet on, and I was pretty high on it early. I mean, the Packers were only favored by 3.5 at home. Got a little close at the end, but it just comes down to just Tua in the cold. Dolphins in the cold. Whenever the Dolphins get in cold weather, they literally shrivel up. I mean, if you would have watched McDaniel, our old OC, he was literally shivering on the sidelines. I saw what they asked about McDaniel, how they're going to prepare for the cold. He was like, I was just going to fill my pockets with ice cubes and throw them at players all practice. I don't think that helped. Tyreek Hill for Kevin in his fantasy did a little something this weekend. So he had made an appearance, but I thought this was kind of Josh Jacobs' game alongside with Jaden Reed. Josh Jacobs is showing that we understand Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the league right now, but not too far behind him is Josh Jacobs. I feel like when he's healthy, he can definitely be one of the top backs in the league. We saw a flash of it in his stint with the Raiders, but he was battling a lot of injuries, so we really didn't get a chance to see him when fully healthy, and on a winning team as well. So this is kind of what it looks like. The Packers are one of those teams you definitely have to watch out for, and you wouldn't want to play in the playoffs, especially on the road. I think this Packers team can be dangerous moving forward. They got a big game ahead of them on Thursday night. And, I feel like it's too little too late for the Dolphins. The Dolphins were obviously, without Tua for that stint when he was on IR. And they're kind of just, seeing the unfortunate events, the aftermath, basically, of not having a quarterback for so long. And they're trying to play catch up right now. It's too little too late for them.
I agree. And Kevin, the one team that all of us can agree that we hate, aside from the Cowboys, is the Kansas City Chiefs. And on Black Friday, the Kansas City Chiefs snuck by the Raiders 19-17.
Once again, the Chiefs find a way to sneak by. They lead the league in points, or to win a game by one possession or less. And I think this is just a setup for disaster. We've seen a lot of teams that lead the league in lead deposition by one possession, but when you get to the playoffs and you have to give that hammer punch, the Chiefs don't have it. They're going to sneak around and sit around till the fourth quarter and say, refs, make a play. And what happens? They call the offsides. The refs are running on the field. Happens to fumble, and they let the fumble go. So Chiefs find a way to do it. I can point out one play from each game. They're 11-1, but they could be 11-5. They could have definitely a couple more losses.
And Kaz, this is a matchup that we used to love seeing. This past Sunday, not so much, as the Indianapolis Colts defeated the New England Patriots 25-24.
Yeah, lost some money on this one too. Yep.
Ugh. Hmm.
Just the Patriots being the team that they are, it's gonna sound bad because they don't really have the best record. But I seriously think that sometimes the Patriots play down to the level of their opponents because they put themselves a couple times this season in positions to win, and then just find a way to just piss down their leg. And I get the Patriots are in a rebuild, but it's like for them to close out the game where they were up, okay, they were winning, and for the Colts to come back at the very end and allow an Anthony Richardson rushing touchdown to give them the lead, it's like it was almost like too good to be true. Sloppy game, like nothing too crazy from either or. Anthony Richardson 100 yards, 2 tutties with 2 ends. If Jalen Hurts had that stat line, you guys would be having a field day, but never. 109 yards, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. And then Drake May, puts up, has another solid game, 1 hit, 1 touchdown, but, 238 yards. It was a good battle by 2 not so good teams. I think the Patriots were the better team that day. It just came down to the last possession. And again, like I said, the Patriots always find a way to piss down their leg, unfortunately. So I'm more bitter because I lost money. Because I took the Patriots to win. I did. I took them to win outright. So before the game even started, and they didn't. So bitterness aside, I think that the Patriots probably win that battle in a 5-game series, 3-2. So I'm not being fooled by the Colts. Anthony Richardson, as a guy who rode hard for that dude, pause. But as a guy who rocked with Anthony Richardson heavy, I thought he was gonna make a comeback and be the guy. He's not it, bro. He's not a good quarterback.
He won the game yesterday, though, Cass.
He won the game. I'm not buying it. Okay, you can do that shit with the Bears, and you can all these hypotheticals and but there ain't no but shit. He's bad. Okay, so they got one against the Colts. Or against the Patriots. It is what it is, man. But he's not good. So.
Well, Jaevon, as cousin Cordell said earlier, how about them Steelers? And even though this is your game that I'm going to toss it to you, I just have to add, as I alluded to earlier, the Steelers are for real, in my opinion. I have doubted them time and time again all season long, and they have continued to prove me wrong. Shout out to Gary as well, former co-host here on Stats Over Politics. Shout out to my friend Keith Joganatis, who is constantly on the Pittsburgh roller coaster. But Jaevon, as Cordell says, how about them Steelers as the Steelers beat the Bengals 44-38?
Yeah, this was a rare shootout. Usually these AFC North games are, gritty, close, hard-hitting type of games. This was more of a 7-on-7 type of game. Very high scoring. I don't know why Vegas keeps putting the Steelers as dogs in a bunch of games, and I've been taking them week in and week out. Been winning some money on the Steelers. But I do think this was just another game of showing how bad the Bengals defense is. And I think Joe Burrow's leading the league in touchdowns and yards. And they're 3-8. It's how much usually when a team's bad, it's usually because maybe their quarterback's not playing well, something's going on with the offense, they can't move the ball. No, it's the defense is not playing well at all, and they can't get stops. The offense, like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are top in top whatever in their own statistical categories. They're doing just fine. T. Higgins is balling. He might be gone in a year, but he's been playing pretty solid. I think Joe Mixon's presence is missed a little bit, not as much as I would have thought it would have been, but him being able to control the clock, I feel definitely factors in that. We got to give the ball back to the other team and worry about them scoring in a minute. The Steelers were getting the ball back and just going bing, bang, boom. And I felt like the game was going to come down to who's going to have the ball last is going to win. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But it kind of just was, Bengals couldn't get stops. That's kind of been their season. I saw something that I think I saw Jamar Chase, they were quoted. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but it's basically he said, we got to score on every drive. we gotta score on every single drive. Like, you know how hard that is to do? How much pressure that is on a team, on an offense? Like, hey, we gotta go every time we get on the field, we gotta score, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, we gotta score. I was like, yeah, you can do that, but what if the other team just keeps scoring too? Then what? Then what happens? So the Bengals, it's been their season. They just get into shootouts. We saw it twice with the Ravens. We saw yesterday with the Steelers. Pretty much their season has just been, we got to try and outscore the other team. And that method has not worked out for them.
It has not worked out for them at all. And Kevin, you and I, we were talking a little bit in the pre-show meeting just about this matchup and this game. So if you have anything you want to get off your chest, now's the time. But the Chargers went to ATL and they beat the Falcons 17-13.
So what Shaun doesn't know is that Kevin cooked up an 8-legger, and it came down to the Falcons and the Chargers. You know, why can't Kirk Cousins win this game? It's at home, dirty birds, no J.K. Dobbins. Fucking shit the bed. 4 interceptions. Kirk Cousins is getting Kirk Cousins. Atlanta Falcons fans, I couldn't imagine the roller coaster you're on. To see him week 2 in the link, same situation, swag surfing. They put the chains on him. We ain't seen Kirk your chain since he hit Atlanta. It's been sad, you know, as a Kyle Pitts fan.
Oh God,
another roller coaster.
The pump fake.
The Falcons got a lot going on, and with all of this mayhem, with as bad as Kirk Cousins is playing, they're still number 1 in their division. The Buccaneers are on their heels. They just got Mike Evans back, so will they end up being number 1 in this division moving forward? I do not know, but the Chargers are finding a way to win games, man. You know, you can't say anything about it. 17-13. On defense, they're finding ways to win games. Derwin James is all over the field, and Justin Herbert is showing that he's been a top 5 quarterback for a reason, and he's showing it game in and game out. So tops off to them. I think they're 9-4 now, and they're in the hunt to go into the AFC champ, or not AFC champions, but the AFC playoffs. So it's a lot of good things going there. I'm excited to see them play the Chiefs.
Shout out to that corner too, by the way. He had 2 picks and he had a pick 6 too on Kirk. So he had half of Kirk's picks, and one of them I'm blanking on his name, but he had 2 picks yesterday and a pick 6, so he was cooking.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to that I had the Red Zone channel on yesterday, and so I wasn't watching every single play of this Falcons and Chargers game, but every play I saw, it was like, another Kirk mistake, another Kirk mistake, and it just horrible.
Kareem Steele.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Hey, there you go. Give credit where it's due. And Kaz, this next game that we're going to get to involves your pick to win the NFC West. Man, I was rooting for the Saints. I was rooting for the Jets. And, you know, the Vikings were the only ones who got the job done for the 49ers fans. But the game that I'm alluding to is the fact that the Seahawks beat the Jets 26-21.
Yeah, trying to tell you guys, man, the Seahawks. Here's the thing: when it comes to the playoffs, right, or teams that are, going to be in the play, or that aren't the great teams. So like, not the Eagles, not the Chiefs, not the Lions. There's a reason why. Okay, there's 7 seeds in a playoff. Okay, there's a reason, because the teams that are top 7 in their conference are legitimately good teams. And I'm going to stick with the fact that I believe that the Seahawks collectively, because primarily of Geno Smith, I'm going to say it. Okay, I'm going to say it. I said it every week. I'm not going to stop saying it until it's over. Like, what did you guys expect? The Jets are not good. Now, granted, it did come down to a lot of stuff at the very, very end of that game. Tons of penalties. Devontae Adams had I think 2 or 3 big catches get called back for PI. as much as we like to look at the Jets and go, well, they're a good team. They should be good. They're not. They just aren't. I mean, Aaron Rodgers isn't who we thought he was going to be in New York, and they're already talking about him possibly not even being there next year. So Devontae Adams might have just wasted his time, and I mean, I don't think he's making any money anyways, really, in New York, to go there in hopes to give them a surge and make a run, and it's all for nothing. And I think that the Jets know that. They did play solid on offense. They're, like getting Devontae Adams involved early was nice to see. But here's the problem. They bring over Devontae Adams. We know that their ace is Garrett Wilson. So you got to get them both working. And later on, Garrett Wilson did end up, I think he found the end zone, right? I think he did, if not mistaken. But if he did, I know I think he caught fire a little bit at the very end there, toward the middle, very end. But regardless, I couldn't remember if he scored or not. But regardless, it was a Devontae Adams show for the entirety of the game for the most part. And they still struggled to put up 21 points. So Breece Hall, another week, who the hell is this guy? You know what I'm saying? This is supposed to be one of the best running backs in the league, and he's playing like a top 20 back at best. So no Breece Hall. Aaron Rodgers is a shell of himself. Devontae Adams had a good game. Woo, yippee-ki-yay. And then Garrett Wilson is apparently just a guy now. I mean, they were supposed to lose that game. DK Metcalf, what I'm saying, he was all over the field doing what he had to do. Jack Smith and Jigba start off the game hot. And Kenneth Walker didn't have a good game at all. The Jets defense was all over Kenneth Walker. That was probably one of the worst-ish games that the Seahawks have played, and they still won. And that's what good teams do, is when you're playing against a bad team and you guys don't play well, you still come out with the win. The Chiefs have done all season long. Not saying the Seahawks are the same as the Chiefs, but they've done it all season long, and other teams have done that. Even the Eagles have done it. We did it against the Browns. We also did it against another team too. I can't even think of who they are right now, but we've had two games where it's the Saints, where it's like, why are we even battling with this team? They're not good. But we still came out to win, and guess what? Now we're looking at our record, and we're sitting at 10 wins, 10 wins, 2 losses. So Seattle, keep doing your thing. I'm standing behind you guys. I'm standing behind Geno Smith, like I said, until I can't anymore. The division's wide open. Niners are in shambles. Rams, we don't know how they're going to end up, and Arizona might be the only real contender in that division when it comes to them going against the Seahawks when it's all said and done. I think the Seahawks have the most complete team right now out of everybody in the NFC West, and that was a must-win for them, and they got to do it again next week.
So to answer your question from earlier, Garrett Wilson did not score in this game.
Yeah.
5 receptions for 41 yards. From the red zone clips that I saw, the Seahawks seemed to put the clamps on him for what you can against Garrett Wilson. Seahawks did that. So
I couldn't remember if he scored or not. I think it was Devontae Adams had 2 touchdowns, I believe it was.
One
got called back, I think, right? I don't know. Something it was weird. Go ahead, Vaughn. Tony.
They had a kick return for a touchdown. They pretty much scored like majority of their points like in the first quarter.
It was hot start for Adams and the Jets. I knew that, but I knew that Garrett Wilson was like non-existent to like the middle end, and they kind of got him going. But yeah, just Seahawks are the better team. I mean, the Jets are just bad.
They're very bad.
Laviska Shenault, he might be an op. Like he might.
They released it today too.
Damn.
He might actually have a New York Jets jersey on under, because not one, but 2 fumbles on kick returns. Just gave it away. Toddy, did you want to add something else?
No, yeah. I had money on this game, so I was watching.
Do you lose money on this one?
No, I bet the Seahawks as much as it. Yeah. I threw up in my mouth a little bit, but it was the Jets like played the best game ever in a quarter, and then that was kind of it. It was weird to watch because they had Leonard Williams had a pick 6. He's like 6'5", 300 pounds, and he's running 80 plus yards. The Jets were able to get a bunch of 4th down stops in this game. They got like 2 or 3 4th down stops, and the Jets couldn't do shit with that. So the Jets I think I saw something like a stat saying they're like the worst team to be favored in like all of their games, and they're like, whenever they're favored, they're like 0 and whatever, or like 1 and something. Because I remember they were favored on Halloween against the Texans and ended up winning. The Texans were a battered up team, so they're a very bad team to bet on. And every time I just heard that thing in the back of my head, that Pete Davidson meme when he says, "Who bets on the Jets?" Do you know about that? Every time I'm about to bet the Jets, I just pops up into my head every time. So I'm just like, God, yeah, this close to betting.
I mean,
that's this last weekend.
That's a great motto to live by because Kevin, as of week 13, entering week 13, Kevin got ahead of me in our pick'em. I had been leading for like 6-7 weeks. Kevin got a game on me right now. I don't know what's going to happen post week 13, but Kevin's in the lead right now. And if I hadn't picked the Jets like 4 or 5 times earlier this season, I would be well ahead. And so, I should start to live by that motto from Pete Davidson. Ultimate revenge game from Leonard Williams. I mean,
and Geno Smith.
And Geno Smith, exactly, because Geno Smith did play for both New Jersey / New York teams, and so great points, Adi. And as Geno Smith posted after the win, he posted the meme of the guy at his enemy's funeral, like absolutely perfect. And props to Leonard Williams for getting that pick 6 in a stadium that he played in for both teams that have that stadium as their home team. And so, guys, let's wrap this up. I'm talking a little too much as well. Toddy, if you could reclaim the mic for me. The Texans beat the Jaguars 23-20.
Yeah, I also have money on this game. It was in the far corner. Everyone's going to talk about the play. Azeez Al-Shaair used to play for the Niners. People are saying it's a dirty hit. I get it. It looks very bad. But when you're going full speed at a guy who's like sliding and you're already launching yourself at him and he's like sliding, it's kind of hard for him to let up. So I understand both sides of him sliding, kind of giving himself up, but Azeez is trying to let up as the hits goes, and it looks bad. I don't think Azeez is a dirty player. I just think it was just kind of like a bang bang play. Like he's going full speed, like trying to lower his shoulder on him. But everything with the quarterbacks now, they're being protected, and when they slide, it's a whole thing. So I saw that he's gonna get suspended. He's probably gonna lose a bunch of money and get fined and everything. And it was like a big fiasco. Evan Ingram got involved, tight end for the Jags. Thought he was going to get tossed out of the game. He's on my fantasy team, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" But it was very
teammate. Fuck your
yes, you can fight for your teammate and not get thrown out of the game. But I get it. It's a bang bang play. Other guys trying to defend his guy. They're just CJ Stroud, he's like a unfinished puzzle. We're still trying to figure out what he is in his second year. Mac Jones made an effort to try and come back. Parker Washington, guys are probably going to look for him on the waiver wire this weekend coming up. Probably just a flash in the pan, if I'm being totally honest. But Jags are trying to they're going to get a top pick. What are they going to do with that pick? I'm not sure. Are they going to try and get a quarterback? I probably don't think so because they paid Trevor Lawrence record-breaking money. So I'm not sure what they're going to be looking for. Are they trying to get a Travis Hunter? Trying to get I think Neon might step in if the Jags try and get Travis Hunter. They'll be like, hey, hold on there, player.
Travis can go back to school if you're going to take him. He's going back to school.
Yeah. So, the Jags are bad. Texans are okay. They're good. They're winning. They're winning their division, but their division is not saying a lot. I thought Joe Mixon played really good in this game. He's been playing really well, looking like one of the best backs in the league. Whoever has him in fantasy, props to you.
Props to Kevin.
Yeah, formerly of my squad.
That's right. Acquired him in a trade.
Yes.
It's all good. It was all for nothing because Kevin's not making the playoffs.
Tough.
Oh, and Kevin, I will just add while we're on fantasy talk is that Jaevon was saying, Parker Washington flash in the pan. He's downplaying it so he can get him. You ain't fooling me. You
I'm
ain't
not
fooling
picking
me.
up Parker Washington, guys. Just want to let you know that right now.
People that don't know, Shaun is in second place in our league and Toddy's in first. So Team Shaun all the way, baby.
I was projected to win
Hey.
2 games, Kevin said.
You were. That's what Larry said.
So just to keep things moving, Kevin, the Vikings beat the Cardinals. Thank you, Minnesota. The Vikings beat the Cardinals 23-22.
At this point, I'm convinced that as soon as Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray get on the same page, this team's going to be fucking scary. McBride is, if it wasn't for Bowers, is he the best tight end in football right now?
He's got the numbers. He's going to be
I mean,
Pro Bowl.
Bowers got the numbers too, though, but Bowers gets everything. There ain't no one else catching the ball over there, so his numbers are excessively stat padded. But McBride is single-handedly carrying his offense. They just re-signed James Conner. They have Kyler Murray. You have a guy in Marvin Harrison who leads the NFL rookies in touchdowns. So he's doing his thing. He's not what we expected from a yards per game perspective or a fantasy perspective, but Marvin Harrison is still doing Marvin Harrison-like things.
I feel like they need another receiver.
Yeah, they get another receiver in this draft, the Cardinals are going to be scary. But the Vikings, man, find a way to keep winning. We talked about the Lions squeaking out games.
Jordan Addison.
This was a game that the Cardinals were supposed to win. And somehow, some way, Sam Darnold finds a way.
Sam Darnold did find a way. And Kaz, speaking of teams that found a way, the Commanders got out to a 28-0 lead against the Titans. Titans chipped away a little bit, but ultimately Washington wins 42-19.
Yeah, they're back. Terry Lauren, I believe he had a pair of touchdowns. Good for him. You know, as much as I try my best not to root for players in the same division, Washington's kind of a hard team to not root for when they're not playing us because they're making the Dallas Cowboys look bad. So at the end of the day, it's a win in my book. Somebody's got to get second place in the division. I'm glad it's not the fuck boys. So it's all good. Thank you, Commanders. But yeah, no, I mean, you got to remember the Commanders before Jay Daniels hurt his ribs a little bit. They were putting up numbers. This is something that was very expected. They're at home. Tennessee, not a good team as well. They're just like any other good team this season, like the Patriots, kind of like the Browns, where it's like you're going to win a game or two that shouldn't win, but you're going for a draft pick right now. If they even have one, I'm pretty sure they do. But going for a draft pick. Yeah, this Jay Daniels 4 touchdowns. I think it's his first game of the season having 4 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, I believe it was. No, 4 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing, I believe it was. But yeah, he played well, played pretty much perfect. Went 25 for 30 through the air. He had 1 pick, that's it. But I mean, he still had a pass rating of 114. The Commanders they're going to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to be, from the looks of it, probably like a 7 seed, unless something happens where they can get a 6 seed. But yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs, and they got to win out for the most part, and they got to win against these bad teams. So just shout out to the Commanders for stepping up and handling a very bad team. Just like I mentioned earlier, you know, when you're a good team and you play bad, you still find a way to win. That's impressive. But sometimes, like I needed for my Eagles to do, when you're a good team, you got to put bad teams away, and you got to put them away quick. You don't want to be that team that's sitting around playing against, you know, a team like the Patriots or like, you know, the Jaguars, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game in the fourth quarter. And what was that? Actually, that was the Philadelphia against Jacksonville this year. We did that. We're like, no, wait a minute. Why are they within 1 score? And this game's almost over, even though we're way better than them. So like, the Commanders didn't give them a shot. They didn't give them a shot. And I'm even surprised that Tennessee put up 19. So Washington won big time as they should have.
Jaevon, Baker Mayfield, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they squeaked by the Panthers 26-23 in overtime. And I will just add, even as a Buckeyes fan, that Bryce Young, since he returned, may be looking better than CJ Stroud this year.
Yeah, I thought the Bucks got really complacent in this game. Bryce Young, we got to give hats off him. He's been playing his ass off. Obviously, the Munich game. I saw Bryce Young dancing. Like, did you see him hit the John Wall dance like after he threw like a touchdown pass or he scored or something like that? So you could see his morale, everything in him. He's like having fun again. So it's like And then I also saw reports saying that the Panthers will not be picking or looking for a quarterback. So that's also good news. Give him confidence. Let him play. I feel like he just needed time to kind of just let things kind of blow over and just go out there and just have fun again. Just like it's a kid's game at the end of the day. And he looked like he was having fun. Going back to the Bucks, Bucky Irving was a huge deal for the Bucks in this game. A lot of people did not know who he was. I did because I drafted him with my last pick. I know ball. Oregon running back. He was all over the place. Had 150 yards rushing. I think he had a touchdown receiving, if I'm not mistaken. But the Bucks are starting to realize that Bucky Irving is good and make him the primary running back. For some reason, Rashad White was starting over him. I was kind of puzzled why he wasn't starting. But the Bucks are starting to figure it out. Canales is trying to get these boys in line. The Bucks are trying to sneak up on the Falcons. I mentioned Kevin mentioned it earlier when he was talking about the Falcons game, but the Bucks are kind of starting to make some things happen. Now the Falcons do have the tiebreaker over the Bucks. They beat them twice. But if they get a little bit more help from the Falcons, the Bucks can definitely make a push for the playoffs. It was very crazy because Kevin needed this game. And me and him were texting back and forth. And I was like, Kevin, he's like, yeah, man, the Bucks, they got me. And I was like, Kev, bro, they tied the game up. It's going in overtime. He was like, there's no way. You're lying to me. And
turned off the Eagles game. Kaz, I woke up this morning and found out they scored 19 points. I thought I was 12. I thought Google was lying to me.
Yeah.
But Vegas is watching me like a fucking hawk. So they scored 19. They scored 12, but they scored 19.
It's crazy.
And that is a prime example of a bad beat. Just to follow up on Jaevon's point, Bucky Irving, 25 carries, 152 yards, 1 touchdown, and he even added 3 receptions for 33 yards. Bucky Irving.
Still the draft, guys. Still the draft.
Who's Rashad White?
Who is Rashad White?
Hey, Toddy, remind us one more time. What's the name of your fantasy team?
Baltimore University. We know ball on the side, guys.
Can confirm based on that final pick. And Kevin, if
I did
you
also
could,
draft Mitchell. He is no longer on my team.
He's still.
You can't
win them all. You can't win them all. I want to say
you cannot win them all. And Kevin, if you could recap this final game on your part, and then we got one more for Kaz. The Rams beat the Saints 21-14.
Man, waiver report, grab Taysom Hill, and I said you're going to take me to the promised land. And unfortunately,
I feel like everyone in the leagues had Taysom Hill on their team at one point in time.
Taysom Hill and Isaiah Likely have been dropped and picked up like a counterfeit 20. But the Rams are finding ways to do it, man. Puka Nacua is showing that maybe he is wide receiver 1. Cooper Kupp has the name, has the records, has the history, but Puka Nacua is here. We got to see, for all you Michigan fans, Blake Corum got to get in the game and really was making some shit happen. Kyrie Williams. A lot of the NFL is ran but dual backfields now. So to have a young guy like him alongside Kyrie Williams, who knows what this team can do. But the Saints, man, Toddy, man. I think this is all Toddy's fault. He said they're going to the NFC Championship and started off 2-0. It was
last year.
It was last year. It was Houday, and now it's the Saints. Not Houday. It's just the Saints.
I briefly hopped back on the train and got off.
Oh, briefly. And I will just highlight real quickly, I am not a fan of Michigan. We skipped talking about college football this week because half the panel could not stand it. No one else suggested it. We've already gone long enough on this week's episode. However, I will add, the one league that I am in, that is a dynasty league, on my taxi squad, Michael Penix and Blake Corum got them stashed away. And so hopefully that ultimately pays off.
Kaz, I saw them emotes. I saw them emotes in that dynasty. I don't know what the hell going on over there, brother. What boy? I saw them emotes. Yeah, dynasty is right. I saw them emotes.
I'm not the commissioner, and I'll leave it at that. But Kaz,
Hey,
if you
all
could
is
close
fair.
us up. If you could close us out with the final game of this week, as we just watched on Monday Night Football, the Denver Broncos beat the Cleveland Browns 41-32. Even though I was busy covering a soccer doubleheader tonight, it looked like it was an entertaining game. But how did you see it, Kaz?
It was a good ass game, bro.
Shout out Jared Judy, baby. Won me a
Hey,
fantasy.
hey, man. By the way, speaking of fantasy, I was up by 40 some points against my opponent, and they had. I looked. No, look. Listen. So the game was on my phone, and I had some people over tonight. And they were watching over there, right? And I thought I overheard my friend say, "Man, Jerry Judy's got like 200 yards." I said, "He got what?" I was like, "He's like, yeah, he's got like 200 yards and like a touchdown." I thought he was exaggerating, like, "Oh, he got like 200 yards, and maybe like 150, something crazy, right?" And something told me, I'm like, "Bro,
There's no way.
there's no way that Jerry fucking Judy, all right, number one, a top, not number one draft pick, but a first round draft pick, will put up 50 tonight."
Oh my god.
I won, okay, by 8 points. Mind you, I was up by like 50. Like, that dude put up 40 some points.
Yes, he did.
Yes, I have a crazy story. I was down 45 this morning, and I had Jerry Judy and the Broncos defense.
And you won. That, see, look, bro. All I'm saying, I was like, bro, if this fucking, especially now because it's playoff time now, so I'm like, I need to win all these games. I'm like, if I lose to fucking Jerry Judy, I might have to buy his jersey. Thank God I don't have to buy that jersey. But no, entertaining game though. Just Jameis doing Jameis things. Okay, just making it interesting for no reason. The Browns, the Broncos, they're good, man. They're a good team. You know what I'm saying? Like they're good. Like they're not the greatest, but they're definitely a good. They're not a bad team at all. They're definitely not an average team. I've already seen a couple tweets talking about, oh, Bo Nix for sure, rookie of the year now, and I'm like, you know what? If Jaden doesn't close out here, if Jaden don't close out, I could see it. I think that Jaden still should be the. I would say Bo got it a very slight right now, but like it's very close between him and Jaden, and I'm like, bro, at the end of the day, if the Broncos don't make the playoffs and the Commanders do, Jaden's going to get it. I think there's a better chance of the Broncos not making the playoffs than the Commanders not making the playoffs. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, just an entertaining game. Like I said, Jameis just did what he did. He had, I think he had 4 touchdowns, like 2 picks at the very end of the game to make it even worse than what it was. But yeah, I mean, Bo struggled a little bit. I know Chicken was in my chat. He said that he's mad at all of his parlays got busted because he took Bo Nix to throw under 2 touchdowns, under 2 interceptions. He had 2 interceptions, and all that stuff. And I mean, it's expected. But at the end of the day, he put his team in a position to win. Jaevon Njoku, he found the end zone, which is awesome. I had him on my fantasy. It helped out a lot. Nobody saw Jerry Judy. The future's bright as Kaz's head under that hat for the Eagles. That's for the Eagles?
I highlighted a comment from way earlier, but it was just another Chicken comment.
Oh, okay. It was probably egregious. But yeah, no, Jerry Judy, he had the game of his life. Njoku balled out. Chubb found the end zone. I mean, the Browns did pretty much as good as the Browns were going to do this game against a really good defense. So I would say hats off to the Browns. Like they battled, but I mean they're not going to do anything this season, so it is what it is. But better team won. The Broncos won. The Broncos are going to be there when it's all said and done. And I think that whoever plays the Broncos down this final stretch of games, like they better watch out. They need to win because they're going to spoil the party.
And as Kaz was saying, the Broncos potentially making the playoffs this year compared to the Commanders. It'll be interesting to see how that Rookie of the Year, offensive Rookie of the Year race ends. But one stat that I saw on SportsCenter after the game is that the Broncos currently have the record in NFL history with 8 straight seasons missing the playoffs since they won the Super Bowl. That's an NFL record. No team has ever gone 8 straight years missing the playoffs after winning the Super Bowl. Bo Nix, if he's able to break that this year, he might win Offensive Rookie of the Year. If not, it'll go to Jaden Daniels. Regardless, we will all be locked in. We'll all be tuned in. And with that, that does it for episode number 125 of Stats Over Politics. Make sure to give this a like on YouTube. It helps us a lot. If you enjoy the podcast, hit subscribe to get notifications when we go live. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Stats Over Politics and on X at Stats or Politics. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on all podcast platforms. And if you're enjoying the show, give us those 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it. As you guys have been tuned in to episode number 125 of Stats Over Politics. For my guys, Jaevon, Toddy, Kevin Dent, and Kaz Johnson, I've been your host, Shaun Holko. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you.
Go Birds.
Do we have
Friday.
We will see you on Friday for an NBA episode number 126 of Stats Over Politics. For my guys, I'm Shaun Holko. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on Friday for another episode of Stats Over Politics. Peace out, everybody.